wrote, to fill in some of the obvious omissions that are forever part of the journal of my mind, to say what I, as an adult, now deem important, and to create a sense of the complete experience and its effect on me and the other young men of the 524th Fighter Squadron in World War II. The major action of most missions remains vivid in my mind. The words inked in that little book while I sat in my cot under the dim light years ago remind me of where we went and what we did. I can clearly visualize the targets, feel the weather, hear the radio conversations and the talk afterward. I can see the faces and recall the gamut of emotions. Some of the smaller maneuvers, such as movements in formations, dive-bombing runs and strafing passes, takeoffs and landings, and evasive action, were repeated so often and in such typical ways that the descriptions in the following pages will be accurate. My logbook, also yellowed over time, tells me how long each mission lasted. My training notebook lists technical aspects of flying the P-47, and memorabilia including pictures, a jacket, a helmet with goggles and oxygen mask, a holster, and printed rosters and orders issued from the 27th Fighter Group help me recall those adventures. Perhaps some of the more significant missions and humorous incidents have stayed with me because, as a high school English teacher for more than 3 decades, I gave in occasionally when students asked me to enliven the literature they were reading with my war stories. These oral retellings to eager audiences helped me solidify a mental record. More difficult than remembering, though, as I write about acrobatic moves we made with our Thunderbolts, is my suffering from a communication handicap. I cannot use my hands as I write. In those days, when a few fighter pilots huddled in our operations area, mess hall, or living quarters, they zoomed their hands in the air, indicating sharply banked turns, radically steep dives, and straight-up climbs. After years of speaking with such animation and adding elements of exhilaration, fear, and sadness with my voice, I find considerable challenge in telling all of these stories with mere fingers punching typewriter keys. Mom, maybe I am finally going to assemble what you imagined when you bought that journal at Ruddock's bookstore in Council Grove and thought, I'll just give this to Jamie. He'll write his story. Dear God, let him live to do it. Preparing for war. Joining up. Although most of my high school classmates in Council Grove didn't even consider college, I never imagined not going. I chose Kansas State Teachers College of Pittsburgh, now Pittsburgh State University, in the fall of 1942, hoping that its strong printing school would help prepare me for the day when I would own a country newspaper. In addition, the well-known track coach there, Doc Weed, saw me high jump at a meet in Emporia and asked me to try out for his team. The invitation from this tall and dignified man overwhelmed me, even though he had not so much as offered me a scholarship or even made an actual recruiting pitch. Tucked away in the southeast corner of Kansas, where I had never been, Pittsburgh seemed strange to me. The city, about 40 blocks long, sat on a flat plain surrounded by poor farm ground and row after row of huge, ugly furrows where mammoth shovels had scooped coal from the earth. Not a large place, but larger than Council Grove, it had the feel of an industrial center to me. The campus, its red brick buildings huddled around a sidewalk called the Oval, covered a couple of city blocks. The teachers and classes were great, but even now, when thinking of those days, a sense of inferiority surges through me. I felt like the country bumpkin around all of the confident upperclassmen and women. Also, there were soldiers on campus trained to be glider pilots. Merely walking by them gave me a sense of guilt. The United States had been at war for 10 months. I was 18. If our country had been farther along in building training facilities, my draft board would have already hauled me in. Absolutely certain that most people who saw me wondered why in the world I wasn't in the service, I probably wasn't aware that my facial appearance made me look closer to 14 than 18. Adding to a personal urge to help my country was the fact that the war had gone badly for us so far. The Japanese had killed and captured many Americans in taking over the Philippines. They also gained control of Malaysia, Burma, Indonesia, and several Pacific islands. And the Germans controlled Europe and North Africa and were attacking Russia and bombing England. Doolittle's daring raid over Tokyo in April 1942 had boosted our morale, and in June our naval aircraft weakened the Japanese Navy in a bold attack at Midway Island. But most of the